So hello gamers and welcome to a Battlefield 6 video. Today we're going to be going over the best pro settings in Battlefield 6. I've been testing these a ton and I played about 40 hours of the beta. I'm running a 3060 Ti with 8GB of VRAM, which is the minimum recommended GPU for this game. They said I'd only get 80 FPS. I'm getting about double that with these settings, which is really good. And we'll also be going over things like rifle aim on helicopters, which most people are not going to talk about in these guides. Because I played quite a bit of helis in other Battlefield games, make sure to subscribe because I'm going to make a lot more guides on this game. So let's just jump right into it. The very first thing you're going to want to do is actually hop into a game and open up Task Manager and make sure you're not hitting 100% of your CPU. If you are, that means you're not using your graphics card correctly, which means this game might not run very good for you. Make sure you have XMP on in your BIOS. If you don't know what that is, Google that and just make sure you have that on. That basically means your RAM is running at full capacity, which feeds the frames to your CPU faster, because basically this game is really heavy on your CPU and not so much on your GPU. That's a problem I had in the beta, and I actually upgraded my CPU for this game. But starting it off with the audio settings, we have menu narration, turn that off, subtitles, turn that off, master volume, obviously set this to whatever you want. Make sure you have your tinnitus SFX volume off. For your color profiles, I would set it to custom and then just change it however you like. I just made the enemy colors a little bit deeper red, but you can change it to yellow or whatever you want just so you can see people better. For camera effects, turn the world motion blur off, weapon motion blur off, infantry HUD motion, turn this off. It'll just make your HUD bobble around and it's annoying. Camera shake, turn that down. I love this setting, reduce sprint camera bobbing, turn this on. I hate when your camera bobs, it actually gives me like motion sickness. Chromatic aberration, turn that off, and crosshair projection, turn that off as well. Crosshair projection makes your cursor bounce around. It's just so annoying. Like, they have so many stupid bouncy settings. You can turn them off though. Next, for hold toggle, I would make infantry sprint hold and not toggle. That way you just hold your shift key and you're sprinting like most games. Double tap forward to sprint. Like, what is this, Minecraft? What are we doing? Turn that off. Crouch toggle sprint, I would actually set to crouch. That way you're able to crouch run. In this game, you're not actually really able to crouch run without this turned on. If you didn't know, you can be in crouch and still be sprinting. That way you can keep your head down as you're sprinting. It was in Battlefield 5, but then they removed it for Battlefield 2042, but it's back now. I don't know why they keep removing things and then adding them back. Is this Call of Duty? Vehicle boost, I would have on hold. This is really good for jets, especially. Double tap crouch for sprint slide, I would just turn this off. You can have your own bind for sliding and then your own bind for crouch. Interacts, I would have on hold. That way you can hold a revive and then stop a revive mid-revive if somebody shows up. Combo rows, you could actually set to toggle. Sometimes when it's on hold, it's kind of annoying to like navigate the menus, but I'm fine with that. And the tutorials, you can set these all off if you want to. For gameplay, invert all vertical look, turn this off. This will make your helis inverted. I hate that. Capture area outline, make sure that's on unless you really like immersion for whatever reason. Aim sensitivity is obviously up to you. I'm still tweaking these, obviously. Unless you're in controller, you don't even have to change this one. It's normally at 40. Turn off roll camera in landing roll. If you do a roll landing, your entire camera will do a 360, which looks cool, but you can actually turn that off, which is definitely way better. And then for vehicle aim, you're gonna have to figure this out yourself. But definitely turn up the helicopter control sensitivity, especially with rifle aim, because that'll make it a lot better, and I'll go through that later. The helicopters feel much more responsive in this game with this up. Same with 2042. But the helis in this game are much less controllable than 2042. And there's not even a little bird, which I'm kind of annoyed about. They gotta add a little bird to this game, but whatever, that's not part of this video. Vehicle boost is of course on hold. That's really important to have on. Campaign, we don't really care about campaign here, but I guess you can turn up your difficulty. For mouse and keyboard, for your control settings, uniform infantry aiming is really nice, and then zoom sensitivity coefficient on 0. It definitely help you with that transition between hip fire and aiming. Field of view, I like to keep on 114, but this is something you're going to want to change yourself. Some people like max FOV, some people like minimum FOV. I don't know why they like minimum, but whatever. Slide, I like to keep on C. Some people like it on control, but I have other binds that I'll talk about in a bit. Steady scope, make sure you have also bound to right click. This will make it so when you aim down sight with a sniper, you're already steadying your scope as well, which just makes it way easier. In the vehicle settings, I would actually make the vehicle third-person field of view on maximum. Next, we have to go to aircraft though. The only one I really recommend changing for aircraft is I would have pitch up on spacebar. Basically lets you roll at maximum speed at all times, which honestly people without this setting are going to lose to you in a dogfight a lot of the time. Next, for helis, this is the most important thing right here. Yaw right needs to be on mouse, yaw left needs to be on mouse, then roll right needs to be on D, and roll left needs to be on A. This is called rifle aim. If you were flying helis before, this is going to make you crash. I'm not going to lie, it's going to make you crash at first, but it will completely change the game for you. Rifle aim basically means that aiming your bullets or rockets with a helicopter is like aiming as infantry. Everything you do is with your mouse, and rolling is with your keyboard. This means you can basically track targets like you're using an assault rifle or something. Right now, it's not as important, but when they add the little bird and miniguns, you're going to want to have these settings. Rockets don't need super precise aiming, but this will still help you quite a bit, and they definitely will add the little bird sometime during this game's life cycle. All the best heli pilots are using rifle aim, okay? This is like their secret. I almost forgot about infantry keybinds. Your big map you can put on tab instead of scoreboard. It's kind of nice to be able to hit your map easier. I put vault on your X key and have jump on my space key. That way I can jump peek without accidentally vaulting over things and dying, which is a thing I do in every single game. Whoever added this, GOAT Dice developer. So many games don't let you have mantle and jump on different keys. I have toggle crouch on Z. That way I can crouch run when I want to. I have prone on left control, and I have slide on C. So D is to slide, left control is to prone, and Z is a crouch toggle. You can play around with these. I really like this because it lets me crouch run when I really need to stay in cover and still sprint. I put my class gadget on mouse 5, and I took gadget 2 off of my mouse button. Honestly, I might put grenade on one of my mouse buttons as well. I'm still playing around with this, but G on grenade is not too bad either. And make sure to have rangefinder zeroing on shift. That way, when you steady your scope and you have a rangefinder, you're also setting your zero distance, which is insane. It kind of just makes the bullet drop in this game non-existent. It's kind of insane. Run these keybinds. It's really nice. Next up, we have the graphics tab, maybe the most important part of this. Let's go into the graphics quality settings and see what I set. So obviously change this all the way to custom. Texture quality, I like to keep in high, but you can put this on low. This is just because the game looks a little bit better. Texture filtering, also your GPU usage on this is medium, so you might want to turn this down. And everything here, it doesn't even matter if you have a good PC. Honestly, all these things, just put them on low. Literally everything here, PCF on shadow filtering. None of this stuff really matters that much. I'm not gonna lie. And these have big effects on your CPU as well. Like, oh no, the explosion is going to look slightly worse for 1 second. It doesn't really matter. But I sometimes like to keep the post-processing quality on high. As you can see, this is getting a little scary from my VRAM. So world brightness, I like to keep this up a little bit. You can see it doesn't look great on maximum, but I like to keep it on more like 60, maybe, you know, a little bit higher. Sharpness, some people like to keep it lower. It's normally at like 50, I think, to make the game a little bit more sharp. But then we have the advanced settings. Fixed resolution scale. This is not one you're going to want to change. If you lower it, it will definitely help with your performance, but the game will look like garbage. So I like to keep it on 100. Frame rate limiter, I would keep this off, of course. Dynamic resolution scale. This is another one that I guess you could go for. Basically, it says this is the minimum I'll let you get. Like, I could say 50%. I could run the game at half quality, and my target is to get 240 FPS. Basically, the game will run in lower and lower quality until you hit your frame rate target. This can be really, really good for terrible computer, but it doesn't look very good, but I guess you could maybe try it. Reflex low latency. I usually like to keep this on just enabled, not enabled plus boost. You could fully turn off anti-aliasing, but I like to keep it just on TAA. You could also turn it up if you wanted to. Upscaling, if you have an NVIDIA GPU, I like to have DLSS on with quality setting. Quality setting doesn't really make the game look any worse. You could also go to balanced if you wanted to. Performance and ultra performance will give you a lot more FPS, but they can look really smudgy and can kind of affect visibility and honestly the game looking good at all. So I like to keep it on quality, maybe balance. It's hard to go any higher than that. These two, do not turn them on. Whatever you do, future frame rendering and frame generation. These generate fake AI frames in between your actual frames, which will make your input lag really high. And if you're already getting bad FPS, they will barely change it at all. They use a bunch of GPU. I hate these. These are basically a scam. I'm not gonna lie. They're only okay if you're already getting decent FPS, you're on a good rig, and you're only playing like a single player game. Do not use them here. And you can also turn on performance overlay to simple if you just want to see your FPS. Make sure you have chromatic aberration, vignette, and film grain off. I hate vignette. Look what this does, bro. It just adds all this black around your screen. It's annoying. For display, you could run borderless or full screen. I use borderless because I like to alt tab. If you like to alt tab because you have ADHD or whatever, then have borderless. If you want just the best performance, full screen is sometimes a tiny bit better. VSync, turn off. Don't have VSync on. Then we have crosshairs and indicators. I like to have my crosshair on like a nice purple, a little bit of intensity to it, but not too much. And I changed around quite a few of these hit indicators. I made my headshots red, so I know if I'm hitting a headshot. I made this a nice pink, so I know when I get a kill. And I made this one green, just so all these different settings stand out. And make sure you have hit indicator numbers enabled. I would keep them on small because they're already like really big, not gonna lie. For audio, I turned my music off. Obviously, that's just because I make videos and I don't want to have music in the background. Other than that, you don't have to change too much. I would obviously have the sound system on stereo. The audio mix, I like to keep on default, but you could turn it to like war tapes and have like super loud sounds, but it's terrible for me. You could go high dynamics, but honestly, I don't know if any of these are really going to change your footstep audio, which is like the only thing that you might care about. You can definitely play around, and especially the war tapes one is very fun. It's just so loud. It's like not really worth it. I also turned off the radio, but obviously you can have that on. For system, I like to have the command console on because there's some things that I like to run, some commands that you can run. Anyways, gamers, make sure to subscribe. Lots of videos coming soon. Comment down below any guides you'd like to see from me. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Have a nice day.